Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, dating, relationships, game, everything in between. The relationship between man and woman, woman and woman, and everything in between. Today, I'm going to talk on being comfortable and confident with your success with women. Okay? The woman you are with, regardless of how others perceive her, is your choice. And it is respectable to hear a man comfortably and confidently, respectfully discuss the good times he has spent with that woman. It is admirable. Not out of boldness, but out of separation to the men who feel that they have to be critical of women and always find a means of putting them down through one way or another. Because at the end of the day, if you chose to be with that particular person, it's a direct or perhaps psychologically indirect representation of your decisions and who you are as a person. A direct mirror of who you are, because you've made a decision and now you're telling people that's a bad person and that was a bad decision. Why? You made it. So you should highlight it and say this was good. And if it wasn't necessarily a good decision, you don't have to go out of your way to, accentuate that. You must speak with accountability. As a man, you need to be accountable of your actions and who you deal with, and be proud and understanding of that, because otherwise we can't grow if we don't accept where we go wrong, or we accept where we clash with people, or accept our flaws as humans. Maybe we have a particular taste and it's not everybody's taste. You should be loud and proud with that. That woman you're spending time with is a correlation of what you're into, where you're going, and what your needs are. Yeah? What some people perceive as a 10 might not be a 10 in your world, and it won't be a 10 in their world, and it won't be a 10 in their world. But to them, it makes sense. And some people would argue that they wouldn't get involved with anybody less than a 10. I don't do the rating thing. I think it's terrible. I don't believe in it whatsoever. But when people speak on this, and I don't believe in it because I do know that it's each to their own. I personally don't like dolled up, naive girls. I do within reason, depending on who they are, because you never know. Everyone's different. But as far as the general consensus of what should be deemed beautiful, I see a lot of insecurity. I see a lot of eating disorders. I see a lot of body dysmorphia. I see a lot of makeup and masking. And I see a lot of women who have relied on looking good for so long that they don't necessarily have too strong a set of attributes external to that. So me personally, through my experience, I'd rather somebody with a little more character, somebody with a little more colour, But that to most wouldn't be what generally people perceive as a 10, because the 10 is there for them girls who may not necessarily have too much going on upstairs. I'm quite a contrarian when it comes to it, right? Quite the contrarian. But that's not to say it would be, unfortunate looking women. There has to be a balance, right? There needs to be a correlation with my personal interest and what I'm into in order for attraction and, the usage of my time with that person to make sense. I know people who sleep with women from time to time and then, when asked about it, are critical about that woman, and it just reflects badly on them. They should stick their chest out and own their decisions. And I think it's a representation of toxic masculinity, you may say this, because it derives from an insecurity of that man that the women he's held up to such a high standard by the other men who just talk nonsense about girls they will never have, first and foremost, about beauty standards and what a good looking girl is, that when a man actually ends up with a girl who he finds attractive and feels that he will be judged upon, which I guess judgment happens, it can't be avoided, but the man must be fully frontal with his decision and with the choices he personally has made, as opposed to putting that woman down, which I think is unfair. I think there's an air of bullying when it comes to men who go out of their way to be mean to women, because you shouldn't ever feel threatened by the fairer sex. You shouldn't feel threatened by anyone, full stop, let's be real. But as a man, you should have no time in the day where you feel threatened by a woman, you know? It's nonsensical. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. You're better than that. So that's a little ramble, really. Have I covered much game? Not necessarily, but it is food for thought, because I guess it's sort of a knock-on from the discussion we had on being accountable and understanding that people have their own interests. Beautiful women are beautiful women, but it is through the eye of the beholder, and what one man perceives as beauty, the other might not. And when we grow up, we, out of our own choice, forge specific interests, aesthetic, sexually, and above and beyond when it comes to our partners and what we feel a pull towards. It doesn't make sense for a rating system, because we all have a separate perception. I'm signing out. I got 2 links down in the description of this video. One of them will take you through to the catalogue of body language. It's my YouTube playlist to teach you how to learn how to read people through their subconscious behaviours. All of their subconscious behaviours. It's all there. Second is the Patreon. You won't find game like that anywhere else. It's me assessing the non-verbal, attraction and repulsion cues. Watching footage of real life first dates, you'll join me and you'll internalise that information and go out into that world and learn how to manoeuvre through your communications with women. And on that note, I'm signing out, people. Click subscribe. Peace.